what is going on with Kansas City's wide receiver room?
Yeah, it's I mean, like, we asked the same question last year, right? Like, yeah, you brought in Juju and that was going to be a nice addition, but there was still all sorts of question marks. Like, here's the thing. It's going to be Kelce leading the way once again. Like, how many consecutive seasons with over 1,000 yards? I think right now his projection is like just over the 1,000 yard mark. So you're tempted once again to take the over, but I mean, he's 33 years old. So like, I'm still not sure if I feel like purely convinced to go with it, but there isn't any indication that says that he's slowing down anytime soon. Here's what I'll say about the Chiefs wide receiver room. Like, if your guy, Kadarius Toney, is healthy, there's a massive ceiling there, but it just hasn't happened yet. And so everything kind of leads me to at least some optimism on Skyy Moore. So his number came out 575.5.
Okay.
I talked about it last week that this is somebody that is coming into the slot with Kansas City in his second year. Rookie wide receivers with Andy Reid usually tend to struggle. Even Tyreek Hill didn't have a great year. But the second year, they really start to figure it out. And the Chiefs led the NFL, even with like a bunch of scrubs, you would say, at wide receiver. They still led the NFL by almost 300 yards in yards receiving in the slot, by like 300 yards over Minnesota. And that's where Skyy Moore is going to line up the bulk of the time. So, yeah, like there's still some inconsistencies and you just don't know what to expect. But there's confidence now, and there's still an ability for him to be able to make plays in the middle of the field. Run Richie James, not sure what his role is necessarily going to be.
Oh, no, he might piss people off betting wise. I'll tell you, like, he was on the Giants. Apparently, we like to share players at this point, but he's the one that's going to piss people off because he is going to end up being good for a touchdown here and there, and he's going to take some yards away from some of these guys, and especially because they're kind of doing this. They might end up in this like wide receiver by committee, especially if Justin Ross, who I'm starting to be a little bit more intrigued in. I try to stay away from camp hype because it's very easy to do that. But there's a reason why, like, he was an elite prospect. He would have went in the first round if it wasn't for those injuries. In 2018, he led Clemson in receiving yards and he didn't start a single game. Like that's crazy. So we know that the talent is there. He started over T. Higgins. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think that Andy Reid never shows his cards. I don't know what to expect there. In fantasy too, I don't know that I'm totally in on anyone exactly. You look at their ADPs. I'd probably lean towards like a Skyy Moore, but Justin Ross right now, he's not going to be as cheap as he was because Twitter has caught on to him. So he's not going to be as cheap as you probably could have got him, last week. But I think that, the Chiefs wide receiver room is going to end up being very fun. They might be a waiver wire team.
Stephie Smalls is the illest. Stephie Smalls is the illest.